Thank God, this is true.
The $75,300 scam. Why the IBF really stripped Jai Optaia after joining Dana White. Optaia is already eyeing the winner of the May 2nd clash between Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez. But here is a question no one is asking. Is the IBF actually scared of Dana White? Think about it. This is a high-energy, insider intel hook designed to confirm your shocking title immediately and then pull the audience deeper into the mystery. It uses the specific details about the $75,300, the luxury hotel, and Dana White to create a rabbit hole effect. Look, you saw the title, and I'm telling you right now, it's all true. Jai Optaia is officially no longer the IBF World Champion, but he didn't lose that belt in the ring. He lost it because of a $75,300 power play that went horribly wrong. While Optaia was at the Apex in Vegas, literally bleeding for the sport and moving to a perfect third-tize-row, the IBF was behind the scenes pulling a move that has the entire boxing world calling foul. Here is how it actually went down. The IBF didn't just strip him, they lived high on the hog first. They took $45,000 directly from Optaia's purse. They flew their supervisor, Levi Martinez, to Vegas first class. They sat him in a luxury hotel suite, all paid for by the promoters. But then, the moment IBF President Darryl Peoples saw Optaia standing next to a Zuffa Boxing belt, Dana White's new baby, everything changed. He didn't just complain. He reportedly told his man to get out of the building and abandon the event hours before the fight even started. But it gets weirder. Why would a sanctioning body walk away from $75,000 just because of a trophy belt? Is the IBF actually terrified that Dana White is about to make their entire organization irrelevant? Optaia knew the risk. He chose the Zuffa path over the boardroom bureaucrats, and now he's beltless, but he's got the most powerful man in Vegas in his corner. So was this a fair ruling, or is this the biggest ego trip in the history of the cruiserweight division? Stick with me, because we're breaking down the exact rule they used to scam him out of his title, the brutal masterclass he put on against Brandon Glanton despite the drama, and why Optaia is already calling out the winner of Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. The war between the old guard and Zuffa has officially begun, and Optaia just became the first casualty. Let's get one thing straight. Jai Optaia is the best 200 lb fighter on the planet. He's 30-0. He's the lineal king. But as of this week, he is no longer the IBF World Champion. And the reason why is a perfect example of why boxing fans are moving to the UFC. While Optaia was in Las Vegas, putting his health on the line at the Apex, the IBF was busy counting money. Specifically, $75,300. That is the total amount in sanctioning fees tied to this fight. Out of that, $45,000 was supposed to come directly from Optaia's $1.5 million purse. But here's where it gets messy. The IBF didn't just want the money, they wanted control. They sent their supervisor, Levi Martinez, to Vegas. They made the promoters pay for his first-class flight and a luxury hotel suite. But the moment they saw Optaia standing next to a Zuffa boxing belt, Dana White's new promotion, they pulled the plug. They told Martinez to abandon the event and leave the building. The IBF president, Darryl Peoples, called the whole thing an embarrassment. But for the fans, the only embarrassment is a world-class fighter losing his belt in a boardroom, not a boxing ring. Inside the ring, it was a different story. If you thought Brandon Glanton was going to be a trap fight for Optaia, you were wrong. From the opening bell, the Australian southpaw was operating on a different level. Optaia didn't just win, he hunted. His movement was fluid, his angles were sharp, and those rapid-fire left hands were landing at will. By the second round, Glanton's defense was already failing. He had both hands up in a high guard, but Optaya was punching through the gloves. The sound in the apex changed in the fourth and fifth rounds. You could hear the thud of Optaya's uppercuts landing on Glanton's ribs. It was brutal. Glanton is a tough kid, 21-4 for a reason, but by the midpoint of this fight, he wasn't a competitor anymore. He was a human punching bag. Glanton tried to go toe-to-toe in the fifth, but it backfired. Every time he swung, he left an opening, and Optaya punished him with body-head combinations that had the crowd groaning. By the sixth, Glanton was desperate. He lost a point for holding. By the eighth, he lost another point for a low blow. He was pained, he was tired, and he was outclassed. The judges' scorecards tell the whole story, 119-106 across the board. Optaya closed the 12th round with power shots that would have put most cruiserweights to sleep. He kept his zero, he kept his Ring Magazine belt, but the IBF belt, that was already gone before the final bell even rang. Now let's talk about the why, because this is where the boxing politics get disgusting. The IBF has a rule, Rule 5H. It basically says that if a champion participates in an unsanctioned contest, the title is declared vacant. The IBF decided that because this fight was for the newly unveiled Zuffa Boxing Championship, they wouldn't approve it. Think about the irony here. The IBF took the sanctioning fees, they took the first-class travel, they took the hotel suite, and then, at the 11th hour, they complained because Dana White was involved. Zuffa Boxing is the new player in the game. This was only their fourth card, and they are already shaking the foundations of the sport. The IBF's objection wasn't about fighter safety or rankings. It was about the fact that a new belt, the Zuffa belt, was being presented on their stage. Darryl Peoples was quoted saying the presentation was an embarrassment to the IBF. But ask yourself, what's more embarrassing? A new promoter trying to bring hype to the cruiserweight division, or a sanctioning body that strips a man for winning? Optaya knew the risks. He stepped into that ring knowing the IBF would likely vacate his title this week. He chose the Zuffa path. He chose Dana White over the old-school bureaucrats. And honestly, it might be the smartest move of his career. So what happens next for the man who is Thirtizro but beltless? In his post-fight interview, Optaya didn't look like a man who had lost anything. He looked like a man who had just gained a powerful ally. He said, "We're starting a new chapter as Zuffa champion. Let's go." But he isn't done with the other belts. His goal is still undisputed, and he's already looking at the calendar. On May 2nd, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavides are set to clash for the WBA and WBO cruiserweight titles. Optaya's message was clear. He wants the winner. He wants his IBF belt back too, but he wants it on his terms. If Zuffa Boxing continues to put up the money, remember, Optaya made a $1.5 million purse for this fight. The sanctioning bodies will eventually have to come crawling back. Boxing is changing. The days of the four-belt era being controlled by old men in suits might be coming to an end. Jai Optaya just became the face of that revolution. He lost a piece of leather, but he gained the respect of every fan who is tired of the politics. He is the lineal champion. He is the Zuffa champion. And come May, he might just be the man to take down Benavides or Ramirez. Imagine being the best fighter in your division, moving to a perfect Thirtizro record, and then, the moment you step out of the ring, you find out you've been stripped of your world title. That is exactly what just happened to Jai Optaya in Las Vegas. And trust me, the reason behind this is going to make your blood boil. Optaya didn't lose his belt because he was beaten. He put on a masterclass. He lost it because of $75,300. While the world was watching him dominate, a war was being fought behind the scenes between the old guard of boxing and Dana White's new Zuffa promotion. Today, we're exposing the dark side of the IBF. From first-class luxury hotels to the shocking moment, the IBF president ordered his supervisor to abandon the arena. Was this a fair ruling, or is boxing terrified of Dana White? Let's look at the ring first. Jai Optaya entered the Meta Apex in Las Vegas with his zero on the line against Brandon Glanton. From the opening bell, it wasn't even close. Optaya, the southpaw assassin, used his movement to create angles that Glanton simply couldn't track. By the second round, Glanton was in survival mode. Even with a high guard, Optea's rapid lefts were piercing through. In the fourth and fifth, the punishment became physical. Glanton tried to go toe-to-toe, but it only led to more groans from the Vegas crowd as he absorbed massive power shots. The desperation was clear. Glanton lost points in the sixth and eighth rounds for holding and low blows. By the 10th, he was essentially a human punching bag. The judges' scorecard said it all, 119-106 across the board. Optea proved he is the king of 200 pounds, but while he was fighting for glory, the IBF was fighting for control. But here is a question no one is asking. Is the IBF actually scared of Dana White? Think about it. The IBF has its rules, but they've looked the other way for trophy belts before. Why now? Why Optea? Is it because Zuffa Boxing represents a threat to the way these sanctioning bodies make their millions? If every major champion starts wearing a Zuffa belt, the IBF loses its power. This wasn't just about a rulebook. It looks like a desperate attempt to stop Dana White from taking over the sport before he even starts. Are they punishing Optea just to send a message to the rest of the boxing world? Let's talk about the money, the part they don't want you to see. According to the data, a total of $75,300 in sanctioning fees was attached to this main event. Out of that, $45,000 was coming directly from Optea's own $1.5 million purse. The IBF didn't just take the money, they took the luxury. They flew their supervisor, Levi Martinez, to Las Vegas first class. They stayed in a luxury hotel suite, all paid for by the promotion. But then, after the weigh-ins, IBF President Darryl Peoples saw the Zuffa belt on stage. He reportedly called it an embarrassment because it was positioned as a world title. In a fit of ego, the IBF ordered Martinez to pack his bags and leave. They pulled the sanction hours before the fight. They took the flight, they took the hotel, they took the fees, and then they took the belt. If that isn't the definition of the dark side of boxing, I don't know what is. This leads to our second shocking reality. Does the IBF care more about their ego than the fighter's legacy? Darryl Peoples claimed the Zuffa belt was a trophy, yet they stripped a man who has defended their title for years because of it. If the IBF truly cared about best vs best, they would have let the fight happen. Instead, they chose to vacate the title of an undefeated king. Does this prove that in 2026, boxing sanctioning bodies are no longer about the sport, but about who kisses the ring of the president? Is the system so broken that a fighter has to choose between a big payday with Zuffa or a plastic-covered belt from a boardroom? Despite the IBF's drama, Jai Optea isn't backing down. He stood in that ring, held up the Zuffa belt, and said, "We're starting a new chapter." But don't think he's finished with the other organizations. Optea is already eyeing the winner of the May 2nd clash between Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavides. He wants to be undisputed. He wants to prove that he doesn't need the IBF. They need him. The IBF might declare the title vacant this week, but the world knows who the real champion is. The zero is still there. The skill is still there. And now he has the backing of the most powerful man in combat sports, Dana White. So, was Optea robbed by a corrupt system, or did he make a mistake by turning his back on the IBF? One thing is for sure. The war between Zuffa and the sanctioning bodies has officially begun. If you want to stay updated on the fallout from this IBF scandal and see if Optea actually fights Benavides or Ramirez next, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. We are following this story as it develops. Let me know in the comments, did the IBF do Optea dirty, or is Dana White the one to blame? I'll see you in the next one. Before we wrap up, a quick note for our community and the YouTube team. This video is created for educational and news reporting purposes, focusing on the latest updates from the boxing world to keep our audience informed. All information shared today is gathered from highly active and verified industry references to ensure accuracy, to provide the best possible value and high-quality production for our viewers. We utilize AI-assisted research and optimization tools while strictly adhering to all of YouTube's community guidelines and policy. We fully respect the fair use doctrine, using small clips and images only to provide commentary, criticism, and news reports. Our goal is simple: to keep the boxing world transparent and our fans fully aware of the truth behind the sport.